Hi everyone, this is Migs from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have something a little bit different. As we all know, Father's Day is coming up. It is already this Sunday. And because of this, Nike decided to give us a promo code for Father's Day. I'll be explaining the promo code more in detail later, but it does give you 30% off on your purchase. There are definitely a lot of shoes available at Nike's website. However, I made a top 10 list of the shoes that I think would be the best to get your dad. These are also eligible for discounts when using the DAD30 promo code. So with that being said, let's go! To start things off, I'll just quickly explain what the DAD30 promo code is, as well as its terms and conditions. With the DAD30 promo code, you get 30% off your order during checkout, and it is valid until June 21, 2020 at 11:59 p.m. The code is only valid for men's footwear, and the code also isn't valid for any Nike by you purchases, so you can't customize your sneakers and, have a 30% discount. And it's also not valid for sneakers purchases, so if you go to the sneaker site, you also can't use the DAD30 promo code. Then Nike also listed some select styles that can't be used with the DAD30 promo code, and it's listed here down below. This may seem like a lot of styles, but Nike just has so many colorways of so many different shoes that this is actually a pretty insignificant amount when you compare it to the number of styles they have. Then there's two more important details. The total discount is limited to 13,000 pesos off of your order. So if ever you buy a boatload of shoes and apparel and whatnot, you're only gonna be able to have a maximum discount of 13,000 pesos. Then the last important thing to note is that free delivery is calculated after the code is applied to your order. And this is because Nike has free delivery for all items 7,500 pesos and above. However, if the original price of your item is 8,000 pesos and you apply the DAD30 promo code, it's gonna turn out to be less than 7,500, which means you will then be charged for delivery. Nike charges 500 pesos for standard delivery, and with standard delivery, it'll arrive at your doorstep in 5 to 9 business days. They also have an option for express shipping, which is 750 pesos, and this will allow the item to arrive at your doorstep in 2 to 4 business days. Then with the terms and conditions out of the way, let's look at the top 10 shoes that you can get for Father's Day. Starting off, we have 3 shoes that are for casual purposes, and we have one that's more modern, one that's more classic, and one that's a pretty good mixture of both. So for the more new age casual shoe, we have the Nike Air Max 2090. And it's called the 2090 because it's heavily inspired by the Air Max 90. The Air Max 2090 is super comfortable on foot. It has that giant air unit in the heel. And then in the forefoot, it has a very soft foam. It also has very light and minimal materials on the upper. And it does feel super comfortable and it fits very well. You have a lot of colors here on the Nike site. So you have this white and pure platinum colorway. Then if you are in the mood for something a little bit louder, this is actually the pair that I have, which is orange with a little bit of purple, with a little bit of white, black, and red. You also have this other color, which is predominantly white and sail, with a little bit of teal. And this has a really nice kind of off-whitish look to it. You also have this other colorway, so this is black with a little bit of gray, and then it also has hits of white, hits of yellow, and it also has a little bit of like darker gray, purplish gray underneath the first layer of materials. Then you also have this other colorway, which is on the louder side. It's bulked with a little bit of aqua blue and a little bit of black and white. Then if Dad is more of a fan of the simple look and he doesn't like his shoes looking dirty right away, then this all black option is probably the way to go. These are a really comfortable shoe and it's a pretty new style, and if your dad is the type that's pretty hip, this is actually a good way to go. However, if you want something a little bit more classic, of course we have the inspiration for the Nike Air Max 2090, which is the original Nike Air Max 90. The Air Max 90 used to be a running shoe in the 80s and now has become one of the more iconic lifestyle shoes. You have that classic waffle traction pattern on the outsole, then you have that signature air unit in the heel. It's also really comfortable. It might not be as comfortable as the 2090, but it is still one of the fan favorites. You also have that signature mudguard on the side, as well as that nice airy mesh on the top. The mesh on the upper of the Air Max 90 is actually my favorite feature of the shoe because it does hug your foot pretty well, giving you a very nice one-to-one fit. And then it's also very airy, so you don't feel too hot inside the shoe. Then Nike put out 3 very classic colorways of the Air Max 90. So they have the turquoise one, they have the purple one, and they have my favorite, which is the Vault one. They all share a similar base, which is the white, black, and gray. And then you just have the different hits of turquoise, purple, or Vault. However, if Dad wants a little bit of the old with a little bit of the new, then the Nike Air Force 1 React is probably the way to go. The Nike Air Force 1 has been a staple in footwear since the 1980s. However, what Nike did recently was to give it modern tech. The Nike Air Force 1 React has a very thick drop-in midsole that's composed of almost entirely React foam. Then on the heel you have an air bubble which just adds to the comfort of the shoe. In my opinion, this is the most comfortable Nike Air Force 1 that they've ever made, and it doesn't have the exact same aesthetics as the classic Air Force 1, but it does have the same overall silhouette. It is also really nice that it comes in that classic triple white colorway, and this is actually the only way to go if you want an Air Force 1 React because the other colorways are sold out. They still have quite a few sizes here on the site, however they are going pretty fast. So those would be my 3 choices for casual footwear that your dad can use all day without having any problems. All 3 shoes are very comfortable, it's just a matter of preference if he likes the new age, or the classics, or a mix of both. So moving on to the next part, we have 2 shoes that are both for training or running. And this is if your dad goes on long runs and if he goes to the gym a lot. These are 2 very good options. So first we have the Nike Joyride Run Flyknit. The Joyride Run Flyknit is very comfortable, especially with its nice Flyknit upper. Then you also have that Joyride technology that is pretty stable. It's not the softest, but it is pretty comfy. It does provide you with that stability because it really conforms around your foot very well. This is marketed as a running shoe, however it is pretty stable, which means you also can use this in the gym. Nike does have quite a few colorways of the Joyride Run Flyknit. This first colorway is pretty simple. It has a black upper with a white midsole, and then it also has a light blue translucent rubber on the back part of the midsole housing the black and white Joyride beads. You also have this colorway which has white on the front part of the upper with black on the back half. You also have hits of yellow on the lace loop, the tongue logo, as well as the pull tab on the heel, as well as the Nike swoosh on the side. You also have a white midsole, as well as a light blue translucent piece at the back to show you the yellow, white, and black Joyride bead. For the next colorway, you have an upper that's pretty much a very light blue, a white midsole, and then a little bit of hits of black. And then you have a light blue translucent rubber piece at the back, housing the pink, black, and white beads. The next colorway comes in olive Flyknit in the front, with black on the back half of the upper. You also have a white midsole coupled with an olive green swoosh, and then you have a light olive green translucent rubber piece that houses the red, black, and white Joyride beads. Then for the last colorway, you have a Vault Flyknit upper, and then at the back half it is in gray. You once again have a white midsole, but now accompanied with a light gray swoosh, as well as a very light gray translucent rubber piece that houses the Vault gray and white beads. Then for the next shoe for the running and training category, we have the Nike M50 Run Flyknit. Just like the Joyride, the Flyknit on this shoe is really comfortable. And then you also have that very thick React midsole foam. In my opinion, this is definitely one of the most comfortable shoes that you could ever get. You can also wear this casually, but it was really meant for running long distances. Then of course, you can also use this for light training in the gym, because even though the midsole is really soft, the base is nice and wide, so it is pretty stable. Nike also has quite a few colorways for the Nike React M50 Run Flyknit. This first colorway is white with a little bit of salmon pink, as well as a little bit of Vault on the collar. However, this only comes in a US size 7, so I'm not really gonna include this much. Then you also have this one, which comes in sizes less than size 10. This is a very nice Oreo looking colorway. Then the next colorway is this black and silver colorway. And this is really good if you or your dad really don't like cleaning their shoes. This is a pretty simple colorway, however it won't get dirty really easily. And in my opinion, it looks kinda good. Then if you want to have a little bit more color, there is this colorway that's gray on the upper with a little bit of Vault on the lining, as well as the swoosh, as well as the heel clip. It also has a white midsole and a gum outsole. Then if that wasn't enough color for you, you also have an all-red React Infinity Run Flyknit with just a little bit of black here on the outsole as well as the heel clip. You also have really small amounts of white here on the Nike swoosh as well as the ankle collar. Then lastly, you have this pretty simple black and white colorway with black on the upper and white on the Nike swoosh as well as the midsole. So those are my two picks for the running and training categories. So these two are both really comfortable. The Nike React Infinity Run Flyknit is honestly what I would choose. However, the Nike Joyride also has benefits if you don't want something super duper mushy. So the next three shoes that I included in the list are basketball shoes. So if your dad is a baller, I think he'd enjoy these three shoes. These three shoes all have one thing in common, and that's a lot of cushion. Because I feel like, if your dad is a little bit up there in age, you'd probably need a little bit more cushion on the basketball court. The first shoe we have is the Lebron 17. The Lebron 17 is just an overall super comfortable shoe to wear because you do have that very thick Flyknit on the upper. And then for the cushion, you have those two giant Zoom pods that are super bouncy and super comfy. And then you also have that giant Air Max 270 unit in the heel. The Nike Lebron 17 is overall a really good shoe. However, its forte is definitely the cushion. So if your dad is a little bit older but he still likes playing a lot, this would really help out his knees. Nike does have 4 colorways available for the Lebron 17. And the first one would be this colorway that looks pretty quirky with the white and the bolt, as well as the aquamarine and orange hit. This colorway is inspired by the Nike Command Force, which is also why it has that Command Force logo here on the tongue. Then the next colorway of the Lebron 17 that they have available is this red colorway with black on the outsole and black on the tongue, as well as black on the knit posit and the swoosh. This colorway is inspired by the Nike Uptempo series, and you have that Uptempo logo on the tongue. The next colorway we have is the James Gang Lebron 17, and this is inspired by his family, and it's actually a really nice colorful shoe with a black base. You have mixtures of green and orange on the knit posit, and then you have a little bit of bolt there on the zoom, and then you have splatter paint on the heel. The last colorway of the Lebron 17 that's available is the infrared Lebron 17s, and this Lebron is heavily inspired by the Jordan 6 infrared. It even has that lace lock, but instead of having the Jumpman, it has LeBron's Dunkman. This is a pretty cool concept of taking an older shoe like the Air Jordan 6 and putting the colorway on a newer shoe. The next shoe we have on the list is the KD13, and it's just such a comfortable shoe because even though the materials up top aren't the most premium, they do fit your foot well. And then the main star of the show is the cushion. The cushion on the KD13 features a full-length Zoom Strobel unit as well as an additional Zoom unit in the forefoot. This cushion setup just makes it one of the most comfortable shoes you can wear from a cushion standpoint, and it also makes it super responsive and bouncy. Nike does have 3 colorways of the KD13, however only 2 of them can be used with the DAD30 promo code. The first colorway would be this simple colorway that has black on the upper, as well as a white and gray Nike swoosh. You have a splatter pattern on the midsole, and then you have a marbled pattern on the outsole. You also have a little hint of blue on the midsole, as well as underneath on the outsole. The other colorway that you can get with the DAD30 promo code would be this one. So it's a pretty quirky colorway because it is predominantly white. However, the midsole has a little bit of splatter, and the marbled pattern on the outsole is very colorful. You also have a little bit of that colorful pattern on the ankle collar, and then you also have some more hits of blue on that part of the midsole, as well as under the forefoot. The upper also has a pretty unique look because they put a black color on the quad axial flywire, which makes you really see it, and it looks like a net on the shoe. Then for the third shoe of the basketball segment, we have the Air Jordan 34. The cushion on the Air Jordan 34 isn't as mushy as the ones in the Lebron 17 and KD13. However, what it lacks in mushiness, it makes up for in bounciness and responsiveness. The unlocked zoom unit in the forefoot is definitely the star of the show because it is such large volume and it is super duper bouncy. You also have a hex zoom unit in the heel. You can't really feel it that much, but it is there to absorb impact. You also have a really nice, light and breathable upper, so it doesn't really get hot in the shoe. This is definitely, in my opinion, the best performing basketball shoe of the year. So if your dad is a serious baller, this is the shoe to go with. There is only one colorway of the Air Jordan 34 that's available on the site, and this is the infrared colorway. It comes predominantly in red, but it does have black on that window in the forefoot, as well as black in the heel and black on the tongue. So that's it for our basketball segment of the list. But of course, if your dad's not into basketball and is more into ultimate frisbee, soccer, and football, we also have something for him. We have one shoe for those sports, and it's the Nike Mercurial Vapor 13. And this is a really nice shoe, and I picked the mid-priced version because it's not as cheap feeling as the 2,000 to 3,000 peso model, but it's also not as insanely priced as the 13,000 Mercurial Vapor 13. The thing I like about this Mercurial is it has that material that's really easy to clean. So since we do live in a tropical country and it rains a lot, when we play on the field it's bound to get dirty. So it's nice that this is a shoe that's easy to wash. You also have pretty durable cleats at the bottom. Then you have that low cut, which is for mobility and range of motion. I also really like this colorway because we did just have Independence Day, so it's nice that this shoe has red, blue, yellow, and white. This is the only colorway of this specific version of the shoe. However, there are different colorways of the Mercurial Vapor 13 in the site. Then for the last shoe on the list, this is if your dad wants a classic shoe. It's not the most comfortable shoe, but it definitely brings back memories. So this shoe, to round out the top 10, is the Air Jordan 4 Retro SE in the Air Max 95 colorway. This Air Jordan 4 is heavily inspired by the Nike Air Max 95 Neon. You can definitely see the correlation between this and the Air Max 95 Neon because you have that gradient look going up from black up to light gray. You also have those neon hits on the tongue, as well as those iconic Air Jordan 4 lace loops. This is also the only Air Jordan that you can get because most of them are sold out. So now that we've run through all of the top 10 shoes, I will now be showing you how to order on Nike.com and how to use the DAD30 promo code. So the first thing you need to do is of course select a shoe. So I selected this olive green colorway of the Nike Joyride Run Flyknit. And the next thing to do is select your size. So I am a US size 10, so I'll be clicking that here. And then you just have to click add to bag. Then once you click add to bag, you have to press checkout. So that's what we'll be doing right now. Then once you click checkout, you're gonna see it here in your bag. And then you just have to press member checkout. So I did press member checkout because I already do have an account on the Nike website. But if you don't, all you need to do is to make an account. And it'll ask you for your email as well as your address so that whenever you shop, your primary address will already be there. So you just have to make sure that the box that says I have read and consent to the eShop World processing and everything else, blah blah blah. You just have to check that and then you continue to billing. Then if your billing address is the same as your shipping address, you just have to click that box. If it's not, you're gonna have to provide the billing address. Then you click continue to payment. And then here on the payment part, it's gonna ask you if you do have a promo code. So you just have to click that and it'll drop down. And then here is where you type DAD30. So we will type DAD30 and then it'll recognize it right away. Then as you can see, the price went down from 8,545 pesos to 5,981.50. Then after this, you just have to select a payment method. So you can use a credit or debit card or a PayPal, or you could select cash on delivery. And then after you select a mode of payment, you just have to select place order. So that's pretty much it. As you can see, it's a pretty easy and straightforward process. And the discount is really large, especially since the shoe that I chose was above 8,000 pesos. We almost got around 3,000 pesos off. So there you have it. That was my top 10 list of the best shoes that you can get for your dad during Nike's sale for Father's Day. Then just a quick recap on the 10 shoes on my list. You have the Air Max 2090, the Air Max 90, the Air Force 1 React. You have the Nike Joyride Run Flyknit. Then you also have the Nike React Infinity Run Flyknit, which I forgot to mention is just a super duper long name. Like Nike, shorten that name, please. Then you also have the basketball shoes. So you have the Nike Lebron 17, the Nike KD 13, and the Jordan 34. Then for all of the soccer dads, we also have the Nike Mercurial Vapor 13. And then for all of the dads that are Jordan fans, you also have the Air Jordan 4 SE and the Air Max 95 Neon colorway. So that's pretty much it. I hope you really liked the list I made for the top 10 Nike shoes that you can get your dad for Father's Day. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for any future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below as well. Then if you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.